Jason from Kick the Piss. Today I want to talk about the fundamental problem with Alcoholics Anonymous in step one. Step one is believing that you are powerless over alcohol. If you're powerless over something, doesn't matter how they spin it and what they say about being powerless and you blah blah or all this bullshit. The moment that you say that you're powerless over something, you have no power. And if you have to give your power to something to have some freedom, you are powerless. You are powerless to change. You're putting the power in somebody else's hands. You're putting the power to change in somebody else's realm. You can't change it. And they say that one of the steps is you got to have a higher power and all that. Why it's important to have something external from yourself. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the person in front of the drink is the person that has to stop the drinking. So if the power is outside of the person, who's going to stop them drinking? And there is some great reasoning behind the why that it works and all that sort of stuff. What I'm shitting on is the idea, the concept, the principle that we have no power to control our lives, that our life and our choices are not are controlled by ourselves. If we're powerless, why don't we go and drink something that's unpleasant? Because we do have some power. Maybe the power has been whittled down by poor choices and poor life experiences and then learning to deal with life in a way that is not necessarily the right way, wrong way. If you're drinking every day and your life's going to shit and you continue to do it, it would stand to reason to say to yourself, maybe I am powerless. And it would stand to reason that you would go, oh, okay, it's not my fault because alcohol has some magical power over my body and takes over control of my mind and my emotions and does all these things to me. That may or may not be true. But coming from that position, you can't change it because you don't have the power. You have more power than you realize because you don't go and jump off the roof every day. We have the power to choose what we do. We choose where we live. We choose how we live. We choose whether we're, in a relationship or not in a relationship, who we're in a relationship with. So we do have some power of choice. When the alcohol gets into our body, the alcohol takes over. And I wouldn't say takes away our choices because that's not true. It distracts our choices would be a better word, or it makes our choices less straightforward because we also have the chemical imbalance that is being driven. Because when you drink all the time and you put that shit in, your body ends up needing it. Your body it becomes part of your DNA to a degree. And maybe that's the reason why they say that it's powerless, because after a while, you're chemically reliant on alcohol. And when you stop, you're chemically going through withdrawals and you're having a really fucking unpleasant time. Is that powerless? No, I don't believe so, because you still have a choice. You still have a choice whether you drink or not. At some point, you could say, no, I don't want to do that anymore and do something different. Because you do other things and you make choices in other areas of your life. Why is this area of your life any different? If you're a vegetarian or you're not a vegetarian, is that a choice? Yes, it is a choice. There's no vegetarianaholics. It's just another substance that we put into our body that can chemically hijack our body and our mind, and we become reliant on. But we're not powerless by any means. Because at any point in our lives, we can say no. We can say, we are fucking finished. And the moment that you say that you're powerless over anything, regardless of what it is, you're right. But what if you said, I'm powerful, I can fucking choose anything that I want in my life. I can write the story of my life right now. And from this day forward, no one, no thing, no substance, no person, no anything will tell me any different. I am in control of my life. I am powerful. I am in control. Nobody and nothing tells me what to do, whether that's a person or a drug, because you are in control of your life. It is your life. You are living your life. You are the master of your own destiny. You can create any fucking thing that you want, choose, and desire if you, A, acknowledge that things need to change, decide how you want them to change, and then take action to change those things. It's not really that hard, because I think we overcomplicate this fucking addiction of alcohol. We make it so hard for us to stop, because on one hand, we don't really want to stop. But we do want to stop because we don't want the consequences. But if we could have the life without the consequences, perhaps we would continue to do that. But the truth is you can't have the life that you want with the consequences of drinking. Like, it doesn't, if you're putting that shit in your body, you're going to have negative consequences regardless of whether or not they are a level 1 or a level 10. They're going to be negative. And the longer that you continue to drink, the longer you continue to push at your physical, mental, and emotional limits, your life will deteriorate to a point where you won't even recognize your life. Your life will shrink and shrink till there's nothing left but the alcohol. And that's what alcohol wants in the end, because it just wants you alone to buy more and enjoy it. When you look at it, when you really look at it, and you ask yourself, when you're getting pissed all the time, I'm not talking about the odd occasion where you're at a party and you're having fun. If you're drinking regularly, you're sitting down having a beer or having a wine or having something, is that fun? Is that really fun? Because I know for myself, when I was drinking every day, it wasn't fun. I wasn't drinking for fun. I wasn't drinking for enjoyment. I wasn't drinking for pleasure. I was drinking because of habit. I was drinking because that's what I did. I was drinking because I had to starve off the withdrawal symptoms. I had to get through my emotional instability, and I had to keep pushing through and living. Or should I say existing, because I wasn't living. Living isn't escaping your life every day and saying that you're living, because that's not living. Living is waking up, excited to live, excited to go and create something, excited to do something different. That's living. You can't be living getting pissed every day. Unfortunately, that's not life. Life is the thing that happens when you decide to make it happen, when you decide to put down the drink. And that's not to say that you'll never drink again. Yeah, you'll have the odd thought that it might be nice to have a drink, but drinking every day has no appeal to me because I've lived that life. I know what's there for me. And now I just live a normal life that's pretty boring, that's pretty chilled, and I'm pretty predictable in how I feel. I don't have the ups and downs. I don't feel sick. I don't have to throw up every night. I don't have to hurt myself. I don't have to hurt my family. I don't have to be a shit person. And I can just not have to pay for all that buckery. But when you're in that cycle, it's so far removed from being sober that you can't see the reality that awaits you if you get sober, if you stop drinking. The reality is so much better. It's a matter of going through that process, getting through to the other side and knowing that there's a better life awaiting you. And once you get through to that better life, you won't want to go back. Like everything, you have to go through it. You have to experience it. And you have to acknowledge that it might be tough. It might be difficult. But the alternative is worse. The things that happened to me when I was drinking all the time, some of them I'll pay for the rest of my life. Others I may not. But that being said, the price is the price. And I've paid it. I live with it. I regret it. But I don't let that ruin the rest of my life. And a lot of people who drink regularly are drinking because of all the things that have happened to them in the past. You're hurting yourself because you were hurt in the past. Or you're hurting yourself because bad things happened to you. Yeah, I acknowledge that life is tough and we all go through battles, struggles, and things that aren't cool. But at some point, we've got to stop hurting ourselves and start healing ourselves. And the first step, and the most profound and important step that you need to take, if you want a better life, if you want to live, if you want to experience what life and living truly is to get sober. And that being said, it's difficult, it's challenging, but it's rewarding. And you just have to know that you're not alone. Thousands of people every day go through this process. There's services out there that'll help you with this. And you don't have to go and admit that you're powerless and that you can't do it and all this sort of stuff. And you don't have to get up and tell everyone what a shit person you are, because that didn't sit well with me. And I'm sure it won't sit well with you. If you're a man and you want to be powerful and you want to own your life, you don't have to go and say that I did this and I did this and I did this. We all know what you did. You know what you did. And that's enough. The time for rehashing the past is over. The time for living in the past is over. Now it's the time to create the future. Now it's the time to write the future. Decide what direction you want your life to go in. Point your life in that direction and start taking actions every day to get there. It might not happen straight away and it might not be as straightforward as you want it to be. But if you put down the drink and you start walking in the opposite direction, eventually you'll get to wherever you want to be. Eventually your life will start to grow and expand into a life that you couldn't even imagine right now. But just imagine in, say, 5 or 10 years, how much life will be better and how much life will be lived if you didn't drink. How much your life would expand and grow and how much of a person you would feel proud of yourself. Just imagine that. You'd feel proud of yourself knowing that, fuck, I did it. And just imagine that every day that people look at you and know that, yeah, you may have been a drunk. I may have been a drunk. But I'm not anymore. I don't drink. And that's okay. Imagine driving up to the booze bus or the police and having to blow into their little thing and not even giving a shit whether just there's nothing that they've got on you that they can say, oh, you've been drinking. I remember going just the other day, I got breathalyzed and it was a nothing. I remember when I used to drink all the time, it used to be a shit scary experience because you were like, oh, calculating in your head, doing the mathematical equations of Nostradamus, going, oh, I had a drink fair and yeah. You don't have to do that anymore. You're free. You are free. The moment that you put down the drink, the moment that you pick up life is the moment you become free. Free to live and free to grow into the person that you were always meant to be before you articulated alcohol into your life, before you invited that fucking poison into your body. And alcohol has no control over you. It's an inanimate subject. It has no power. You have the power over it. You have the power and dominion to decide, to act, and to do whatever you choose. And you can create the life that you ultimately desire with your choices that you do make. Because you and only you are in control of your choices. There are things that will influence your choices, but they do not control your choices. You, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions control your choices. When you learn to drive your mind in a way that is congruent with who you want to be, you'll be able to go more easily towards the life that you want. But that's going to take time. It's going to take skill. It's going to take new knowledge. It's going to take support. It's going to take people that are on your side. And that's going to take you stepping up to the plate and acknowledging that things need to change and you're the person that's going to change them. You do that and step into that power and be the person that you need to be, that you will create the life that you want. And just remember that it doesn't all happen at once. It's a process. Because a tree doesn't grow overnight. It takes time. Freedom starts with the first step. It starts with putting down the handcuffs of the drink and picking up your self-respect, your life, your hopes and your dreams, and start walking towards the person that you ultimately desire to be. Whether you reach out to me or to somebody else, reach out to somebody. You don't have to do this alone because there's people out there that want to help you and want to support you in your journey to sobriety. And just remember, my name's Jason. I'm from Kick the Piss and I'm here and I've got your back.